Loss and pain, only to learn the nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love. Getting to know each other well. My deep admiration has changed into attraction as well as encompassing the curving waves that sway from seashells to hold against your ears and hear the sound of your true self. The nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love. The nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love, the nature of love. A natureza do amor.
آواز بخونم امشب میخوام تا صبح برقصم امشب میخوام ماه و ستاره بخونم با من پست و جانان ستاره نشسته توی چشمان ترانه شده حرف و صداها ستاره نشسته توی چشما لا 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 تا صبح برقصم امشب میخوام تا صبح بخونم امشب میخوام ماه و ستاره بخونم با من مست و جانانه ستاره نشسته توی چشما خراب نشده حرفا
Amazing sounds
The amazing sounds of Atash. Hello, friends. Hello, amigos. How are you doing? Frederico here, Fred. Great to be once again sharing world beat music here in Austin Music Television. Abraço a todos, a hug to everybody, whether you're watching the show right now through the Austin Music Television, sending love and always sharing some world beat sounds and international sounds with you that mostly are made in Austin, Texas, but sometimes we bring guests from outside as well. And I am so happy to be having a conversation. That's right. We're going to have a live interview, a live conversation with the Latin Dukes. They are a terrific ensemble fusing many different sounds, so I want them to talk about their music and not me. So we're going to hear about what they've been doing, why Austin, and what their music is like, and get to listen to one of their latest releases as well, called Tus Miradas. So we're going to close the show with some Latin Dukes. That is correct. And I want to let you know of a great event happening this upcoming Saturday, benefiting the SIMS Foundation. SIMS that provides mental health care, mental wellness opportunities for musicians that otherwise are not able to receive those services. So that means therapy for musicians that may be going through a rough spot. So I encourage you, if you're interested in supporting the Austin music community and what the SIMS Foundation does, I encourage you to check out the Electric Art Party, an online auction. It's happening right now. You can already see basically what happened during the pandemic. A group of artists began to donate their art, their visual art, to SIMS, and they are doing an auction. So it's an auction of artworks made by Austin musicians, including art by our own Frederico, that plays in my band, Fumi Sugawara, my guitar player. He also donated a piece. So I will be playing at 5:30 p.m. and Akina Ederly will also be playing. As a matter of fact, next Saturday, I got a double duty on Saturday, playing at the Mohawk, supporting the SIMS Foundation in the afternoon. Yes, and also what I'm also doing, I'll share with you guys real quick so you guys know what's happening in my world. I am playing next Saturday at Geraldine's, a great place to hear music here in Austin. So Geraldine's, we're gonna be playing there this Saturday at 10 p.m. as well. So busy day for my band, doing what we love and also supporting a great cause in the case of the SIMS Foundation, and coming to hang out at a great place such as Geraldine's. More news, more music. Yes, let me share with you guys another tune here before we bring our guests, the Latin Dukes, to have a conversation with us. In the meantime, enjoy the sounds of the Cecilia and the Broken Hearts. Los Marcianos. Los Marcianos.
Con cumbia para
Cecilia y los Broken Hearts. Así es. Maravilla, maravilla. Great band right here from Austin, Texas. A Chicanx Futurismo mixing so many styles. I had the pleasure to play with them this last Saturday, and I'm looking forward to playing with them again in September at a mini festival happening in South Austin called the South Americano Festival on September the 18th. We'll talk more about that later. But shout to the all Austin, Texas musicians. A shout to Austin Music Television, all of you guys keeping up with world beat music in our city. Earlier on, you enjoyed the music of Atash, and now we'll enjoy a conversation with the Latin Dukes. Let me go ahead and bring these guys to the studio. We got Sergio and Chris here from the Latin Dukes. So, hola, how are you guys doing?
How's it going?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, doing great, guys. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us and talking a little bit about your music with us.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Frederico. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Oh, that is great. So I definitely was meant to have you guys eventually because simply what we do here about a year ago with the pandemic, I started to have conversations with musicians just like we would have, if we ran into each other in a club or somehow. And I remember seeing you guys many years ago at the Flamingo Cantina. We played together, and then I saw you guys at another event that I wasn't playing. So it's been a few years, and I'm glad to reconnect with you guys. I'm glad you guys are back. Can you talk to us a little bit about what is the music of the Latin Dukes? What is your project about?
Okay, mostly our music is a blend, a fusion of many different styles. Obviously, it's mainly Latin with influences from flamenco because I'm from Spain. We have all the other influences from the Caribbean. We have also cumbia. We have many different styles with a fusion of style. And also we have a portion of the band from the States. So we have a blend for many places.
Yeah. Violin player that's classically trained, so he brings a lot of those influences in. My background is mainly rock and jazz, so a lot of the rhythm section is influenced by that. As Sergio mentioned, percussionist is from Havana, Cuba, so there's a lot of the Caribbean beats coming into the rhythm section as well.
We have also the Texan, right?
Yeah.
We have also a member of the band is Moreno. He's from South Texas. They have the border, so we have a lot of influences from Mexico, Texas. So we have a little bit of everything. We need a Brazilian player first.
Oh my gosh. It's one of the things that I love about the music here in our city because, like you were mentioning, you start to meet people that you love to play with and people that understand your music. And all of a sudden, you have Cubano, you have someone from the border with Texas, so someone that understands the language, and you're putting all these flavors into your music actually a question, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, Sergio, are you the main writer of some of the material? Do you guys write it all together, or do you bring ideas to the rest of the band? How does work the writing process for you guys?
Yeah, mainly I'm bringing the most of the songs to the band. Yes, but the good thing is I compose most of the songs, but we finalize the songs together. So that's why we have a little bit of everybody in each of the songs. Yes.
I see. I'm familiar with that process. So in that way, you have that inspiration of your life experiences and your understanding of music from Spain, and you are sharing that with the rest of the band, and then they are interpreting whether it comes through the Caribbean, or the rock jazz that Chris was mentioning. You were sometimes Chris. How is it for you, Chris? I guess I'll ask you.
receiving these songs from Sergio and interpreting and bringing them to life through your side of things. What's your approach of working with him?
That's the most exciting part of the band, honestly, because he'll bring an idea and we'll evolve it over the course of rehearsals and even live. A lot of times we play depending on how we're feeling, or if someone breaks out a little bit, we'll follow them. So it's a very fluid, improvisational way that we write music. So Sergio grounds us in that the kernel of that idea is constant through all the music that he brings, but the band really takes it and it morphs over time. So even songs that we've been playing for 4 or 5 years, with different experiences and people come together in different ways and different venues, we'll play that song differently. Based on the mood.
Absolutely, and we will be playing towards the end of our hour here. We're going to be playing Tus Miradas, one of the songs that you guys have in your record. And I want to also tell everybody, if you visit latindukes.com, you can find out more about the music, find out more about what these guys are up to. Sergio, I'll ask you, Sergio, and Chris, I'll ask you the same question in a moment. How did it start for you, your love affair with music? ¿Cómo te enamoraste de la música?
Yeah, I don't know. Since I was a child, I don't even remember it, but the famous Spanish siesta, right?
Uh-huh.
So I don't remember it, but they told me when I was at my village with my grandpas in the summer, I kept singing during the hot siestas, and every neighbor was hating me at this moment. But so since I cannot remember anymore, I was singing. Yes. And then I started playing guitar a little bit. I quit, by the way. At the beginning, it was boring for me. It wasn't the right moment, I feel. But thankfully, my parents told me, like, okay, you don't feel like playing the guitar, don't play it anymore. And a few years later, I really felt like that. And now I'm playing lately. So it's been
Yeah.
a process during a lot of years so far, and with the guitar and with vocals and composing. But I mean, my family also, we have a lot of musicians in the family. My father sings and plays the guitar. My mother also sings. I have to also relative singing, so I think it's part of my heritage. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. When you just have music around you, it seems more natural. Oh, I'm just gonna start playing because you see around you as a child. I imagine it's a treat. Sergio, tell us, folks here at the Austin Music TV, and some folks also that may see this on social media or YouTube later on. And by the way, I'll put here. If you want to find, for folks that want to find interviews that I do with you guys and then with other bands in town, I'm putting to everybody the link to find this later. But where did you grow up, Sergio? And where was that? Where were you interrupting people's siestas?
He was in Spain. He was in a little town called Madrigal de la Vera. I'm from Madrid, Spain, but most of the summers I spent it with my grandpa. I was amazing spending the summers with my grandpa. So we had a small village in the mountains. By the way, we had the chance to visit it.
That's right.
3 years ago. We were touring in Spain.
Oh,
We played there.
that
is
great.
Town, so it was a nice experience. So, yeah, I was born in Spain, Madrid, and I started my contact with the music. It was mainly in Spain.
Oh, that is fantastic. How long of a drive from Madrigal de la Peña to Madrid? How far away?
Yeah, it's just a couple of hours. Yeah,
Okay.
remember that Spain is smaller than Texas, so everything is very close. So
Oh,
Madrigal is just 2 hours driving from Madrid. Yeah.
oh, wonderful. And we'll talk about the Spain-Texas relationship in a second. I want to ping pong to you, Chris. How was your process of falling in love with music and realizing that this was something that you really wanted to pursue? How did it happen? Was it all of a sudden? Was it a process?
It was, so family-wise, there's always a lot of music. and especially my extended family. Both my grandfathers were musicians. They were both immigrants, so there was a lot of Napolitano ballads being played as I
Oh,
was
I
growing up.
see.
And so
Yeah,
that
south
was,
of Italy. That's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So that was really my first introduction to music, was hearing that at my grandparents' house. And then as when I got into high school, I started playing guitar and bass and got into like a lot of punk and metal bands at that point in time. When I
Me
went to
too.
college, yeah, if you're that age, you kind of get sucked in at that point. But and then I quit for a little bit. I went to college, and
And you
then
fell in love.
that's true. I did.
Oh,
But before
uh,
that happened, I spent a
you can't
year.
fight that.
That's right. That's right. Before that happened, I spent a year in Latin America. I studied for a year in Costa Rica, and that's when I started getting into Latin music.
I see.
And then when after I graduated school, after a couple of years, I moved to Austin, and then you can't help but get sucked into the music scene here and started playing around a lot. I played with a band called the Ernesto Marquez Sextet. We played a
Okay.
lot of bossa, a lot of Latin jazz, and from there it's just kind of snowballed. And
Yes. Yes, and I want to maybe tie what you're just saying, Chris, to my next question. How was for you, Sergio, and Chris, when you guys, came to Austin? What was your first impressions, or what are some of the things that you find unique about playing music here? What struck you as a musician about our city?
So mainly, I have to say that I don't really believe in luck, because I really think the more you work, the more luck you have, obviously. But I really think I was lucky because my main occupation is I'm a teacher, bilingual teacher here in Austin. So
Yes.
I arrived to Texas as a teacher. I couldn't choose the city, but they gave me Austin, so I was really lucky at this point, because it's an amazing city, as it's called the live music capital of the world, right? So, and at the beginning it was a little bit hard, because when I arrived to Austin, I didn't know anybody. So it took me
Oh,
like 1 year to get involved into the music scene, to know every corner of music in the city. But after that, I mean, it's an amazing place. People love live music. We are surrounded by a lot of amazing musicians everywhere you go. So it's an exceptional place to be a musician.
that is the big one of the biggest reasons I ended up staying here. The amount of teachers, of colleagues, of people in a relatively small town. It has grown a lot, but still, we can find. I can find the music of the Latin Dukes. I can find the music of the bands we were listening earlier. Atash. We can have friends from literally all over the world, from Texas honky tonk and blues all the way to Iranian music. We have it all in the city, it seems. It's pretty fantastic. Chris, for you, so you were mentioning you work with a few other bands and playing some Latin jazz and so forth. When did you meet Sergio? When did you start working with the Latin Dukes?
oh, it's going to be almost about 6 years now, right?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was in a car with his wife. That's when it happened. Right?
yes, that's true. Although we should probably clarify that story.
Yes, clarify.
Um, so my wife and Sergio are colleagues, or were colleagues at this time, and they were driving to a convention in I believe it was Dallas. Anyway, they were going to an education convention, and he was mentioning that he needed a bass player for his band, and of course my wife said, "Well, my husband plays bass," and
Hey.
I had met him before. We had talked before, but didn't really make the connection musically. So um, next rehearsal, I was there, and the rest is history.
It's serendipia. It was awesome.
Let's say hi to her. It wouldn't be possible.
Totally.
Yes.
Wow. And Sergio, yes, I am I've worked as a teacher as well for many years. Now I still work with art programs, but worked with the youth. So that it's it can be for a lot of musicians. It's a big challenge because as a teacher we have to spend many hours preparing and dedicating to the classes. But then we also have some opportunities. We have some time off in the summer. So a lot of things to juggle, right? A lot of things. I imagine, for all of us trying to be musicians. Talk a little bit about what you guys been doing in the town, and like what are some of the places that have been your favorite places to play over the the years that you guys have been here.
So we haven't played many places so far because it's been like 6 years. So, but we have a break, right? We have to to stop for a couple of years because
Yeah, there's many places still that need to have you guys there because you
yes,
guys are
hopefully.
terrific. So we're
But
gonna spread the word around.
yes, thank you. But I had to stay a couple of years in Spain from 2018 till 2020 because of visa relation topics. Anyway, so we had to stop for a couple of years, but we are back. We are so happy. We have many places we are playing again. One of my favorite places I would say is Sahara Lounge, for example. Also,
No, we love the Sahara.
yeah,
Yes.
Sahara Lounge and 121 also is a very nice one. Well played Central Market, and I mean, we have different, many different places I've been playing. And for example, the next one is going to be this Saturday. We are playing at Texas Keeper Cider. It is an amazing place. It's an open field. It's a countryside. It's beautiful. They are nice, very
Wonderful.
nice people. Amazing cider. They're making their own cider. So many of the places. Do you have any special one?
The one that is definitely the most interesting is the Latino Moonlight Serenades because they basically put us on a barge and send us into the river.
Oh,
And
that
yeah,
is awesome.
yeah,
Uh, yes, I think I saw a photo of that. It's yeah, folks can look up the Latino Moonlight Serenade. I think they have a Facebook page, and you can literally get on a kayak on a boat, and you'll go on a. Were you guys floating on the water or
Yeah,
not?
we are floating. We move around the river, and people is kayaking. So and they come into the bar to dance.
yeah.
So you are like it's tricky to play, but it's really fun.
A little dangerous. But so far, we've stayed dry.
I was a little bit scared about losing a teeth, but I didn't. Finally, with the mic, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, I'm gonna put here a picture of the band here. Well, I guess you can see some of the other folks. Are you guys still this formation, or do you guys have changed some musicians? Are you guys 5 folks usually on the band?
Yes, yeah, that's the current lineup. Um,
Great. So if you don't mind, go ahead and talk just a little bit about each of the folks that you guys have on the band, so that we can get to know them.
sure. So going my left to right, I'm first, and then the next one in line is Roberto Moreno. He's percussion and vocals.
Oh,
And,
perfect.
yeah, and he's the guy that grew up right on the border, so he brings a lot of that authentic Mexican traditional music. He played mariachi for years. Was also in a salsa band. So
Cumbia.
in cumbia. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And then the guy next to him, I'm not really sure what he does.
Yeah, he shows up and sings, and maybe he's from Spain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he wrote a couple songs. The guy next to him is Andrew Noble. He's a violin, mandolin player.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
yeah, brings a wealth of experience, classically trained in viola and violin. He just shreds. Like, he is a monster on that instrument, but also has played tons of Latin music. So a lot of tango actually. And,
That's a beautiful mix. So for those of you listening in Austin Music TV, if you love the violin and the mandolin, and you want to see it apply to Latin and Spanish music, you need to come out and hear him. And who's the last one here on our right?
El Zorro.
yeah,
Right?
sort of. That's
El Toro.
Jorge de Armas, and he's from Havana. He plays percussion as well, congas in Cajon. And yeah,
That is
he knows on the rhythm.
beautiful. It
Yes,
adds the Cuban salsa or the Cuban seasoning
yes.
into all of the other elements you guys already have there. Oh my gosh, that is great. I wanna just really quickly say hi to everybody. Austin Music TV. We are here with the Latin Dukes. Great, terrific ensemble right here in Austin, Texas. We want to say hello to Austin, Texas musicians. It's a great page and a nonprofit that keeps us aware of what's happening here in Austin. And on Mondays here at Austin Music TV, you can catch me interviewing different people and also playing some world beat and international music that we make here in Austin. Um, Sergio, and I'm saying that the Portuguese pronunciation for Sergio, Sergio.
I know Portuguese, so yeah, you can say like that. Yeah.
Oh, I can't help it. It's coming out. Um, you came into a town that has a big tradition on guitar playing and on the blues. Has Texas in general? Do you think Texas has um, affected or influenced a little bit of your music since you've been here? I know it's been not as many years, but you've been here long enough. Do you think the Austin sound or the Texas sound has influenced your writing?
Yeah, I think so. Most of the music, I mean, for example, cumbia. Cumbia was I would say like this. We don't really listen to cumbia in Europe or Spain, or at least I mean my environment, you know. So it has been a great discovery for me. Cumbia. It's really,
Yes.
I would say, it's really from South Texas. It's a main genre. So and also a few lyric traditions. Also, we have obviously Selena, okay, the famous Selena from Texas, you know, with the cumbia
Yes.
also, and many other bands. So, but not even as you will say before, it's not just sounds typically from Texas because we have amazing worldwide musicians like you, like Atash. So I'm still having many influence from all over the world being here in Austin, which is awesome.
Yeah, have you had a chance to experience or to watch some music around the South by Southwest festival when it comes around? Do you
Yes.
guys have any great memories or bands that you may seen during a South by in the past that come to mind?
Um, tons of local bands, but I would say um, I would say that probably the coolest musician that I've seen at South by Southwest is Samantha Fish.
Samantha Fish.
Yeah, she's a blues player, plays a lot of slide guitar. And I have to say, like that was pretty much the most intense South by Southwest show I've seen in a long time. It's a few years ago now, but definitely one that sticks in my memory.
I wondered. I love that discovery, and you know, Chris. Sometimes, as local musicians, we can be like, "Oh, South by Southwest is coming again." That means that you know, for a couple of weeks, we are not gonna have any well-paid gigs because the town is saturated with music. But I really have. Uh, Learned and changed my perspective to be more really welcoming it and very curious because it's always an opportunity to see something new or to see something that yeah can just you know have some lights open up like wow look at what's happening you know maybe a particular band or trend so I love that you have a very specific Samantha Fish in mind you're like yeah she blew your mind that day.
There it is. Yep.
How about you, Sergio? Do you have any doesn't have to be just South by Southwest but I mentioned that because has been an opportunity for me to discover a lot of music. Do you have any memories or any bands that you've seen here that you're really um,
Yes,
entranced?
yes. I was listening to many bands. Also, I have a very good memory about Flamenco Cantina. There were like two, three bands playing there one day. It was reggae and it was worldwide music. Also, it was amazing. I don't remember their names. I mean the names of the band, but it was a very nice experience. And also sometimes I'm me being Spaniard, so I really love being able to listen to the Spanish band. Also, sometimes here in Austin, they bring them here. So like it's called Sounds of Spain, something like that. They
Oh,
come
the
here,
showcase
yeah,
called Sounds of
yeah.
Spain.
Yes, it's part of the huge event, but they bring a few bands right from Spain, so you have a little bit of your people and your country here for a week or two, a couple of weeks. It's awesome.
It is. I remember many, many years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago, I saw Ojos de Brujo.
Uh
Ojo
huh.
de Brujo. That was a great show. I was like, oh, wow, this is a great.
Macaco was here. Rosalia was here like last year, right? 2 years ago.
Yes, yes. So that's some pretty uh, amazing fusion of Spanish sounds, bringing Spanish sounds and Spanish music reincorporated into the 21st century. Let's talk a little bit about that. How do you guys see, and maybe Sergio, you may be better able to answer the question, but in general, how do you see, all of this fusion of Spanish sounds and kind of creating something new? Um, do you like that? Do you try to play with tradition versus innovation?
Uh, from my point of view, I really like it. I mean, I know I'm not gonna post anything at all. I know some people is really curious. Obviously, you talk about flamenco itself. What we are playing is not flamenco. What Rosalia is playing is not flamenco at all. I mean, pure flamenco. But obviously, I love the innovation and the mix of rhythms and trying to innovate with new rhythms. And because I would say that in music, is everything is invented already, right? So what we have right now with 7 notes is just blending music and mixing different languages and different rhythms and instruments and blending the mandolin with Latin music or the violin. So it's what we got. So I really love the innovations because you always have something new. Sometimes it could be a disaster, but in some of the cases, it's lovely. Yeah, I really like it.
And Chris, you're interpreting this innovation on the bass, and you are being thrown, you know, Caribbean grooves and flamenco-inspired lines. Um, have you do you when you signed up to be in the band? Did you know already that it was gonna take all of your breath, or did you know what you're getting into? And talk to us a little bit about that as a bass player. You're not just showing up to a gig to play, let's say, soul music or rock music all night long. You're having to be many different grooves in one set.
Yep. Yeah, I have to say it was a bit of an adjustment from a bass player perspective because in Latin music, at least those traditional rhythms, everyone's got their lane, right? Like the
Yeah,
bass player plays certain notes for each measure, and you can't
it's
really tell.
polyrhythmic, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody is interlocking the rhythm patterns.
right. So I think the first lesson I had to learn was not to overplay and make sure I gave everyone their space. Because in rock or jazz, a lot of times there's a lot of notes on the
I
bass,
see.
and you got to really pull back. I think in Latin music and hold down the groove and make sure you're playing in your lane. You're playing, in a timbale, you're playing the and, the 2 and 4. Or if it's another rhythm, you've got a slightly different pattern. You're listening to the clave rather than the bass drum, or all kinds of stuff. So that took a little bit of adjustment for sure. But I think that's the foundation that we're coming from. But to Sergio's point, when you start to mix things in, and once you learn the rules, then you know where to break them, and then
Hmm.
that's when things get interesting. You start mixing styles, and you start to hear stuff that you never heard before, and people start getting inspired, and before you know it, the band's taking off in a totally different direction that no one was anticipating. Within a song.
Yeah, and now he's doing an amazing job.
Took a little bit.
And you guys watching, whether folks are at home watching on Austin Music TV, and thank you Austin Music Television for supporting international music and world beat music on Mondays here. Or if you're here on social media, on Facebook, YouTube, maybe you're watching these on YouTube later on or a few weeks from now. We are with the Latin Dukes. And guys, so you mentioned once again, but I want to remind folks this Saturday, the 24th, you are playing live. Remind us again, where is the show and what time do you guys start?
We are playing at Texas Keeper in South Austin at 3 p.m. from 3 to 5.
So for cider lovers, if you love cider,
Cider, good food, and honestly, I love the place. I'm waiting to win the lottery to buy something. It's amazing place in the middle of the countryside. It's beautiful. So family friendly. Also. Yeah.
so this Saturday, a family show. Go to the Latin Dukes on Facebook. You can find them also latindukes.com, and I think I have it going here on the bottom. Eventually, is going to show up the Latin Dukes website. You guys can find out the details about what they're doing and show up to the show. So much music in Austin is great that we can interact. We were talking before starting to film this that someday both of our bands we can do a show together. So we'll keep looking for that opportunity. I would love to do a double bill with you guys. We are going to listen to your song in just a few minutes because I want folks to listen to the music. We're going to be listening to a song called Tus Miradas in just a couple of minutes. So I wanted to hear from you guys, what was the process in the studio? When did you record your record? Where? Talk to us about the recording process and so forth.
We recorded it here in Austin at Dell Studios, so right down off E6. I think it's going about 3 years now that we laid down most of the tracks. It was that time period where we went to the studio, we put out the album, we started to tour on it, and then Sergio had to go back to Spain. So there was a little bit of a hiatus after we released the album.
Sure. And you know, I understand fully that because as an American immigrant from Brazil myself, throughout my history here, there had been times in my story that I had to, couldn't leave a country for a certain period, or had to go somewhere and then come back. So you guys had a period that the process came to a halt. I bet that it was quite frustrating, but you guys got back to it when you came back, I guess, right?
Yeah, I have to say I was really lucky. After more than 2 years to be in Spain, I came back. The band was still here, like, let's say, waiting for me. So I'm really lucky. We are playing together. We have many gigs and private shows every month. So we are so grateful.
Your music is great. So when people hear the music, they want to know more. So absolutely, you guys will only be playing better and better and get into better stages because you guys sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Chris, so you remember being on the studio? Was there what are some of your memories there working with Sergio at the studio? I bet you guys were happy to get these to actually see it through, right?
Yeah, for sure. One memory I have of the studio is that Sergio actually laid down a lot of the scratch tracks with just guitar and voice and a metronome. He went in and he laid it out, and those ended up being the scratch tracks were so good that they ended up sticking around on a lot of the songs. So what you hear on a couple of the songs are the first take of what we thought was going to be a scratch track.
Oh, that is fantastic! I love those stories. You know, that's la magia, la magia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody did an amazing job, and we were so lucky with the album. For me, it was the first album ever. I have a few recordings, but a few singles, but Nora recording herself. So I was really excited, and I'm still excited for you. You did a very good job. We even have a few guests playing with us. even a Latin Grammy awarded musician was playing with us also in the city. This is Andres.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah, also David Cordova, the guitar. We have your friend playing trumpet.
Jonathan Hoyle, this guy I played jazz with for many years. He's on trumpet on a couple songs. Yep.
So we also have a lot of collaborations. So yeah, maybe next one Frederico's gonna be.
Oh man, I would be honored to. You know, just call me anytime. Actually, just last weekend, a very good friend and a musician from El Salvador, well, El Salvadorian immigrant Nelson Saga. He's working on his album, and we were producing some backing vocals for him. So I would love to participate and collaborate. I think even after COVID, that's one of the things that have been a little bit more on my mind to do collaborations and to work with folks. So yes, call me up. I'll be there to help you guys accomplish a vision. It's now you can call me back. Say Frederico, it's live on the. You said it. It's on the video.
Yeah, we got you.
Guys, it's been such a pleasure. I'm sure I'm going to talk to you guys again in the future. But for now, thank you so much for your time and energy. Austin Music TV. We are here with the Latin Dukes, a terrific ensemble mixing sounds from Spain, El Caribe, Texas, rock, jazz, all together. Check them out. Visit the Latin Dukes on Facebook, and here below you're gonna see latindukes.com to get more information about them. We're going to close the show listening to your song Tus Miradas. Would you guys send us to the song a little bit? Talk a little bit about Tus Miradas and set us up.
Yeah, basically I wrote the song thinking about a relationship, not about love. Okay? But it's like a little frustration also because it was someone who it couldn't make it finally. Okay, it didn't work. But it's the vibes are like flamenco vibes, some there, and you're gonna see the vocals and the roll the rhythms. I must say it's one of my favorite songs of our band. So you chose a very good one song, in my opinion.
Oh, great! Now I'm glad to hear. And Chris, do you wanna say last words for folks watching you guys? Any last messages about the Latin Dukes?
Just that we can't wait to see you at our next show. We're psyched to be playing live again. So we're really glad that things are starting to open up and people are coming out to see us.
Oh yes, and we hope people, keep being safe so that we can keep having shows. So wearing our masks where we have to, or doing what we got to do, so that we don't slide back into pandemic, because we needed the live music, right, guys? We really needed it.
Yes, I would like to send all my support for those who have been suffering because of the COVID. I wrote a song called Solo for those of them, and keep being safe, please. The numbers are higher right now, but we can make it.
We can make it as a community, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your time, and I will be seeing you guys in real life for a show. And also August 13th. I know it's in August, but I will remind our folks here that you guys have a Sahara Lounge engagement on August 13th. But we'll talk about that in the future. Thank you guys again. We are going to.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to listen now to La Mirada. Let's check it out. Oh, Tus Miradas, perdón. Un abrazo a todos. Aquí va, The Latin Dukes, Tus Miradas.
Oye, mi amor, me dices que me vaya, que me aparte de tu lado, que has tirado la toalla. me quieran besar, amor. Tu cuerpo, tus caricias, que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor. Tu risa, tu mirada, tus labios que me quieran besar, amor. Tu cuerpo, tus caricias, que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor. Mi soledad baila con tu tristeza y al mirar bajo la almohada solo encuentro tu belleza. Dime, mujer, ¿dónde queda mi esperanza? ¿Dónde quedan nuestros sueños? ¿Dónde guardo este dolor? Y ahora busco en mi lamento y en mi roto corazón tu risa, tu mirada, tus labios que me quieran besar, amor. Tus caricias que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor. Tu risa, tu mirada, tus labios que me quieran besar, amor. Tu cuerpo, tus caricias que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor. Y ahora busco en mi lamento y en mi roto corazón tu risa, tu mirada, tus labios que me quieran besar, amor. Tu cuerpo, tus caricias que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor. Tu risa, tu mirada, tus labios que me quieran besar, amor. Tu cuerpo, tus caricias que arranquen de mi pecho este dolor.